There's an old quote that states, "Not all storms are meant to disrupt. Some come to clear a path." Even a low point in your life could be meant to elevate you. A lot of problems that happen in this world are centered around love, because love is an important thing. Love is important because in a world of billions of people, one has managed to capture your attention, your devotion. To feel important in the eyes of another will always bring comfort. Love is also referred to as a drug, and like some drugs, it has its side effects. What love does to you would do a completely different thing to another. Love can illuminate the darkest of places, but over time, the light that used to shine bright would begin to flicker and eventually fade out, leaving nothing but darkness. And while you may be able to step out of the dark into a new light, others prefer to remain hopeless and let the darkness consume them. December 29th, 1996. The world would make way for Jolie, Callan. She would be brought into this world by her parents Michael and Regina, and she would be raised in a small town called Vincent, located in Alabama. Vincent, Alabama is a small place, one of those small places with a community mindset. It isn't known for a lot and holds a population of just under 2,000 people. But although it's a small community, it hosted a lot of people with big dreams. People like Jolie Callan. Jolie loved animals. She loved photography, and she even dabbled in school plays. Being raised in a community where everyone knows everyone, Jolie quickly became known as the popular girl with radical hair. She'd wear it red, pink, but oftentimes it was her favorite color, purple. She's described as a good girl, someone who knew the importance of education. She got good grades, and by all means was the model daughter that a parent would want. By the year of 2014, Jolie Callan would be 17 years old and attending Vincent High School. While in high school, she would meet a man 3 years her senior, a 20-year-old guy who goes by the name of Loren Bunner. The two would meet, and they would quickly find out that they had a lot in common and quickly fall for each other. The people around Jolie described the relationship in the beginning as great. They described Loren as a great guy. He was nice, and by all means, Jolie was happy. But like all relationships, the honeymoon phase in the beginning would end, and Loren would slowly begin to reveal his true self and his insecurity. Jolie was a person who was described as someone who loved to hang out with her friends, but Loren would slowly begin to alienate her from them. He didn't like her talking to her friends, nor did he allow her to talk to males outside of himself. A typical day for them when they were together was Jolie sitting by Loren's side while he played video games all day, and if Loren had friends over, she wasn't allowed to interact with them. After time begins to elapse in this relationship, Jolie would quickly realize this wasn't the guy for her, and she would try to break up with him on several occasions. But when she did, Loren would threaten to harm himself and then tell her that if he got hurt, it would be all her fault. Having the big heart that Jolie had, she would stay every time, hoping that things would get better. But by the year of 2015, Jolie had had enough, and she decided that it was over for good. In the year of 2015, she would also graduate from Vincent High School, and after graduation, she was planning on attending college out of town. By the summer of 2015, Jolie Callan had completely moved on. In fact, she was dating another guy at this time. But although she was dating another guy, Loren was still in the picture. He would often call Jolie and beg for her to come back. She would turn him down, and this was a cycle that repeated itself very often. But despite them disagreeing on getting back together, they remained friends. August 29th, 2015. Loren would ask Jolie to accompany him on a hike the next day, in which Jolie agrees. Before leaving out the next day, she would jokingly text her friend, telling her that if anything happened to her, she would know who she was with. And on August 30th of 2015, Jolie and Loren would head to Cheaha State Park in order to do the hiking. The trip would be narrated via Instagram in forms of pictures and captions, with the first picture reading, "On our way to go hiking," with a heart at the end. The picture would detail a photo of their dog Kiba sitting in the lap of Jolie. The next photo would be Jolie and Kiba again, simply titled, "Kiba's dragging Jolie on a mission." The next photo would be Jolie and Kiba again, titled, "Oh, you know, just enjoying the view." The last photo snapped on this trip would be a picture of Jolie, taking a picture of the beautiful scenery around her. Sadly, this would be the last photo of Jolie ever taken alive. Shortly after snapping this photo, Loren would take Jolie's life. She would be shot a total of 2 times and then pushed off the very cliff she was standing on. But after Loren commits this act, he does another unthinkable thing. He then calls the police on himself and lets the authorities know that he just killed his ex-girlfriend. Upon arriving, the authorities would discover the body of Jolie Callan, located just off of Pinhoti Trail, and the boyfriend would be taken into custody. What seemed to be a quickly open and shut case would become very frustrating for the family of Jolie Callan, because things were soon to come that would make them question humanity as a whole. Despite Loren Bunner calling the authorities on himself and admitting to murder, upon arriving at his arraignment, he would plead not guilty to murder. This not guilty plea would come alongside his lawyer petitioning the courts to try him as a child, with his lawyer stating that Loren Bunner didn't know what he was doing and he had Asperger's. His lawyer would say that due to his Asperger's, he didn't understand the seriousness of the situation itself. Therefore, he should be granted youthful status. But get this, the court agrees. Loren Bunner would, in fact, be granted youthful offender status. But that wouldn't be the only kick in the back for the family. Upon being granted this status, he would also receive a very low bail for the charges that he was facing. His bond would be set at a mere $150,000. But when posting bail, you only need 10%, which means he only needed $15,000 to walk the streets. He does in fact post this bail, and for the next 2 years, he's allowed to walk the streets as a free man, despite admitting to murdering his ex-girlfriend. After he was granted this status, the family would highly disagree to it, and they would even turn to the media.
A Shelby County teenager was murdered on Mount Cheaha. I'm Jim Dunaway.
And I'm Sherry Jackson. If the man accused of killing this teen is found guilty, there's a chance that he will serve no more than 3 years in prison. The victim's father is calling it a dangerous miscarriage of justice. He sat down with CBS 42 News reporter Jamie Ostroff to talk about this ongoing fight with the legal system.
That's a sweet girl right there. Very compassionate, huge heart, many friends, just a good kid.
Jolie was just about to start college when she went for a late summer hike on Cheaha Mountain with her ex-boyfriend, Loren Bunner.
2 shots to the head, threw her off a 40-foot cliff. Clay County showed up. He confessed to them. They arrested him, took him to jail, and somewhere in the questioning there were 2 more confessions.
Bunner has been out on bond since September, but Jolie's father says regardless of the verdict, the trial won't be fair.
Open and shut case. till this judge granted him youthful offender.
In Alabama, youthful offender status can be granted to anyone who commits a crime before their 21st birthday. Bunner was 20 when Jolie was killed. Even if he's found guilty, the maximum prison sentence for youthful offenders is 3 years.
And what he's done is showed other 20-year-olds how to kill somebody and get away with it.
The Clay County judge presiding over the case can't tell us why he gave Bunner youthful offender status. Unlike adults, youthful offenders are granted confidentiality in Alabama's court system.
What does it say? We don't have any justice. There is no justice system. None. I can't grieve for my daughter because I've got to fight to try to get justice for her.
So that's exactly what Callan is doing. He's gathered thousands of signatures on a petition, but he thinks it'll be an uphill battle to get Bunner tried as an adult.
Once the media started airing the story, it seems that the court would have a change of heart. And at the beginning of January of 2017, and the beginning of Lauren Bunner's trial, that youthful offender status would have been stripped, and he would be tried as an adult. During the trial, Lauren Bunner's attorney would make mention that he was on the spectrum, and once again, he didn't understand the full seriousness of the situation. But this plea wouldn't work in court, and he would ultimately be found guilty of murder.
Lauren Bunner pleaded guilty to murder Thursday. He shot his girlfriend, Jolie Callan, twice in the head and threw her off a cliff while they were hiking in the Cheaha Wilderness in August 2015. The Clay County judge actually made Bunner a youthful offender at one point, meaning he could have gotten a much shorter sentence and his records sealed. But an appeals court overturned that.
It's the right thing to do. Come on, you don't get youthful offender maybe 3 years for cold-blooded killing somebody. You don't get that.
Jolie's father, Michael Callan, was among the family and friends who came to the Clay County Courthouse wearing purple and purple ribbons in honor of his daughter. During the sentencing hearing, those in the courtroom heard the 911 call in which Bunner calmly admitted what he had done. What he didn't admit was being sorry for what he did.
He's not said anything for the past year and 10 months.
As for Jolie Callan's family, they say they plan to celebrate with a vacation.
Jolie's a sweet girl. She was sweet, good girl, and I think she's smiling today, okay?
Lauren Bunner would be sentenced to 52 years with the possibility of parole after only serving 15. During the trial, a motive was questioned, and Lauren Bunner claimed that both him and Jolie had a pact to harm themselves. But when it came time for his turn, he backed out. Whether or not that's true will always be debated, because Jolie isn't here to tell her account of the story. But while Lauren Bunner tried to claim that him and Jolie were okay up until that point, I don't believe that, because the stories behind their Instagram pictures tell another story. The day before Lauren Bunner would propose this trip to Jolie, something odd would happen. The dog that they both acquired while being together would suddenly go missing. On August 28th of 2015, Lauren Bunner would post a picture to his Instagram saying that their dog had ran away. The same day that their dog Kiba just so happened to disappear, they also had planned to attend a birthday party for a mutual friend. Both Jolie and Lauren did in fact attend this birthday party, and they went bowling. But afterwards, he's seen in the next picture with Jolie, saying that they decided to grab Starbucks together. While Lauren is posting pictures, trying to make everything seem okay, at the same time, Jolie is on her Instagram saying she had the worst day ever. The last photo snapped that night of the two of them would be Jolie and Lauren laying in bed while watching TV. And it brings the question, why is she there? If you look at the photos posted prior, it's not hard to figure out. Lauren most likely asked Jolie to come over in order to look for their missing dog. But once Jolie's at his place, Magically, the next day on August 29th of 2015, Kiba magically shows back up. Is it a coincidence? Or was this something planned? On the same day of August 29th, he posted another photo saying, "Taking Kiba on a hike tomorrow. I guess things are looking up." Looking at that photo made me realize he lured her on that trip by saying, "Let's take the dog on a hike." She wasn't going for him. Because afterwards, when they're actually on the hike, every photo that Jolie takes is with the dog. There were no couple photos taken. And I believe that this infuriated Loren, because Jolie most likely kept her distance the entire trip, and she made it clear that she was there to bond with the dog, and this wasn't a couple's retreat. And sadly, I believe that after Loren came to that realization, this is when he snapped. Or this possibly could have been planned from the beginning, the day the dog went missing.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. I'm sorry, I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked downward as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way. I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere, ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
What happened to Jolie Callan was despicable. For her to be taken out by someone that she loved. Sadly, most of the time when females are harmed, it's by someone close to them. If you're in a situation similar to Jolie's, please take this as a learning experience. Being overpossessive is not love. It's more about control. And some people just can't stand to lose it. Rest in peace, Jolie Callan. Thank you for being a light for others.